Be'ezus Hashem, today's Amud is Daf Yud Beis Amud Beis. We're finishing it now Torah Tes, and we're holding in the middle of the Ma'aber Rabbi Bar Chana. So we learned Rabbi Bar Chana says he was once going in the Midbar, and he was accompanied by Hahutaya, which the Rajvan says is a Seicher Yishmael. And that Seicher Yishmael would be able to take dust, earth, and smell it, and then he was able to tell us, this is the way to this place, and this is the way to that place. So we asked him, how far away are we from water? He said, give me dust. And then he said, and we gave it to him, and he said, we're 8 parsais. So we tried a different time again, and he said, we're now 3 parsais. So we tried different dirt to see maybe he just knows how far away. Rashbam says that maybe he just was bucky in where we are on the map. He wasn't able to, so we see he had to do with the dust. So Rebbe now teaches the whole Torah test into this Maimer. So he says that we were going to Midbar together with a Seicher Yishmael. Seicher, a merchant from Yishmael. So the Rebbe says that's like a tzaddik adar, that he's kol from all the tefillas. Why is that? Because Yishmael is in tefillah, because the name Yishmael comes from Ki Shom Hashem El Anyech, and the Targum is Hashem Shama, he heard Anyech, he heard your tefillah. Kabbalah Hashem Tzloisech. So Yishmael is in tefillah, and Seicher, the word Seicher is also like the Targum of Sechor, which means surrounding, which is like a munah. The pasuk says Ve'munascha Svivesecha. So the idea of Seicher, of Amunah and Tefillah. So Rabbi Chana is telling us that he went together with somebody who's kolul, the idea of Tefillah and the idea of Amunah. And that's a tzaddik. Because he said that the idea of tzaddik is the idea of Mashiach, that he's kolul, the Tefillahs of all Klal Yisrael. And this tzaddik was able to take dust and to smell it and tell us, this is the way here, this is the way there. So dust, afar, is also tefillah. Why? Because the pasuk says yitin ka'afar charboy. He made dust like a sword, and a sword, cherev, is tefillah, like the pasuk says becharbi uvekashti, with that about Yaakov Avinu, that the becharbi uvekashti is referring to tefillas of bekashes, and he was able to smell our tefillas, and he was able to say, and the idea of smelling tefillas is like we say always that Tehilasi echtem lach, that tefillas is connected to the Indian of. Tefillas are connected to the Indian of nose, and he was able to tell us that this is the way the duchta plan. Because we spoke about in Torah Tes that there are 12 shiarim, the 12 psachim through which tefillah goes through. Each one is shaykh to different shevet, and we need a lot of rachmanis that Hashem should help us, so we should be able to be mechaven each of our tefillahs to the proper shevet. And the way you do that is through being connected to a tzaddik. And so this tzaddik was able to take and to smell the tefillah of every person and direct it to the proper shevet. So we asked this tzaddik, how far are we away from water? So what is water? The Rebbe says it's in shivchi kamayim libech. Rabbi Nachman says that shivchi kamayim libech is the tefillah of his bodedus dafka. So how far away from the madriga of shivchi kamayim libech neichach b'nei Hashem? So he said we're 8 parsais, which means 8 bechinas, 8 madrigas. How and what does that mean? Torah, which is made of chamisha choshi Torah, and 3 tefillas. That means in order to get to shivchi kamayim libech, you need to have Torah and tefillah, the 3 tefillas. So taninan, we did it again. The word for doing it in taninan is also the same word for learning. Taninan lashon limud. So we learned. We were makayim the first 5, and then we gave him dust again to see how far are we away from water now. And he said 3. That means the 3 tefillas. So, and then he gave us a siman that we're not yet holding of madrega of shivchi kamayim libech, because afeches we gave him a different dust, like the pasuk says af tashav tzurv charbav leikames v'mechama, that we said that all tefillas are a cheretz Mashiach, like we learned in Torah Beis. Meaning, and if we were not yet zeicha to the inner tefillah or the inner of a cherev, that means we weren't yet zeicha to shivchi k'mayim libech. So now, after finishing the Rabbi Chana, the Rebbe says, he goes back and connects Torah Tes back to Torah Zayin. So, the Rebbe says that tefillah, we learned already in Torah Zayin, that tefillah is bechin of nisim. Nisim means, miracles mean that there's no such thing as teva. Because the teva is mechayev, things should be a certain way. And through tefillah, we change teva. We show that teva is not mechayev, that anything should be a specific way. That's nisim and tefillah. And that is dafka in Eretz Yisrael. The ikar place of nisim and tefillah is in Eretz Yisrael. Like the pasuk says about Eretz Yisrael, Shchon Eretz, when you dwell in Eretz Yisrael, or Emunah, then you could fester Emunah, which is tefillah. And like we said, the pasuk Vayad of Emunah, that when Moshe Rabbeinu held out his hands by the Mechamas Amalek, he held out his hands with Emunah, and the Targum is that Prishim B'tzloi, he held it out in tefillah. This is why Eretz Yisrael, Chazal say, is higher than all other lands, Gavay Mekar Ratzos, because that's where Nisim are. Nes is something which is raised. A Nes is also like a flag. Harimi Nes, it's something which is picked up. That's why it's also called Eretz Canaan. Why? Because Eretz Canaan, Chazal use the word Canaan also to refer to a seicher, a merchant. And we said before that seicher is in schar and seviva of Amunah, with Amunah schar seviva secha. Now that's also the reason why Eretz Yisrael is Shaisa Tchila. When the Geshem comes down into this world, when the Gashmias and the Shefa comes into this world, then it comes first to Eretz Yisrael, because Geshamim come from the Tahimis, from the depths. There's two types of depths. Like we learned in Torah Zayin, there's depths in Shemayim, and there's depths in this world. So that's Tahim el Tahim Kare, the two Tahimis. Now the word for depths, Tahim, is also a lesson of Tamiyah, of the Tehim Kalair, of wonder. Because the Nes, which is a Chiddush, that the world is changed, that Teva, L'chara, looks like things need to be a certain way, and through Tefillah we show that things don't need to be any specific way, then that's a Tamiyah. Because when someone sees a Nes, then he wonders, wow, how could it be? So that means that all the Gashmis of this world, all the Shefa of this world, comes from the Inyan of Nisim, from Tefillah. Now, Zelu Azaz Lakim is Inyan Mitzrayim. Inyan Mitzrayim, like we again, a Chazar from Torah Zayin, that Mitzrayim is the opposite. Mitzrayim Nasim L'Krasei. Mitzrayim is the opposite of Nisim. It's a place of Teva, and that's why Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't able to daven in Mitzrayim. That's why he told Paro, only after I leave the palace, I leave Mitzrayim, I'll be able to daven. And that's why Avram Avinu, when he was paigim b'ma'eda, when he asked Hashem, he had pgam and amunah, so to speak. Then he asked Hashem, how do I know that I'll be zeich to Eretz Yisrael? That's why the pgam was that he had to go down to Mitzrayim, because someone's paigim b'amunah, he's paigim in Eretz Yisrael, he's paigim in Nisim, and he has to go down to goes down to Mitzrayim. And that's in that Dafka Yaakov went down to Mitzrayim because Dafka Yaakov. Because Yaakov are the 12 Shvatim, which are the 12 Neschos Tefillah, and that's why the Tefillah had to go Dafka to Galus. So connecting all this back to Torah Tes, that it's coming out that we said in Torah Tes that when a person stands to daven, then he feels as choshech, which is blocking him from davening, and only through emet, and really there's a Pesach and a Shar through which you could break out of the choshech. You want to daven, and you feel these bulbulim and machshavos which are stopping you, which are preventing you from actually davening, and shivchi k'mayim libech, and davening with and really there's a Pesach. If you would be able to go through the Pesach, you would be able to daven v'chavana. So how do you get to that Pesach if you can't see it? So through emes, then you're able to see it. So you say, according to this, if you're Makasher, the Torah, then basically what we're saying is that the tefillah is getting to a place of being able to daven with the emunah in nisim l'mayla midei chatava, that that Hashem is mechadish the world and everything is nisim and teva is not mechayiv anything. So a person would be able to daven like that, and he would be able to see the or and to see Hashem in everything. The problem is that we have bilbulim which don't let us daven, and that's what that inyan of that nisim get covered up. We lose our emunah that Hashem can mechadish everything. So we lose our ability to be able to daven. If a person would be able to find a Pesach, which we're saying those are the Yud Bei Shvatim, every person has his shar and Pesach, kafi his shevet, which is shaykh to his shevet, a special nusach, a special way of davening. That if I would be able to daven in that way, in that fashion, then I would be able to connect to davening. And what's stopping me from doing that is that I lost that emunah that Hashem is the Ma'al M'derech HaTeva. Hashem can mechadish anything can happen through tefillah. And the way you get back to that emunah is through emes. That you try to go with the emes, and the way you get emes and to go with authenticity, to daven with the emes, to speak to Hashem with the emes, and not to daven with sheker, but to daven authenticity, to say the words and to connect to the words as it is, and not to try davening differently, because like if you daven the way you're meant to daven and the way you connect to davening and you're authentic about it, you don't try davening the way other people daven. You don't try davening the way with a shita or anything. You daven the way you feel and you connect, and you'll find that Pesach which is shach to your shevet. But the problem is to get to that emes, you need to be kabel from a tzaddik. The tzaddik is able to guide us to the emes, to the shar, which is shaykh to our shevet. So the Rebbe continues the Torah that when the Geshamim come down, even the pruta shebekis is masbereches. So pruta is the inyan of it's brought down in koil Torah in shor prutas vasei, that it's the klalias anisim we spoke about in Torah Zayin. The pruta is referring to the nisim, and kiss, the pocket, is the word kiss for pocket is also like a kisui, the kisui of nisim. Shetich, the pruta min a kiss, is that there won't be any people who cover up nisim b'derech hateva. The people are makchish the of nisim. They say everything is derech hateva, and every time they see a nest, they cover it up. So they say everything's teva. So through Geshamim Yardim, through the nisim, through Yeshuas that we pile ice, through tefillah, even the pruta shabakis, even all the nisim which were covered up have a bracha that we can be megala. Everything is api hashgacha, and everything is nisim. So the Rebbe teaches everything back into the pasuk Tahayim Sichasimu Yardim Mitzvos Kamei Evan, which is a pasuk about by Kriyas Yamsuf, which he said that the Kriyas Yamsuf split into 12. That's like the 12 Shvatim and 12 Neschais. That the depths were covered. The Tahayim, we said, is the Tahayim, the Nisim, which are something which are a wonder. So that the people that cover the Tahayim, they cover up the Nisim. Then Yardim Mitzilas Kamei Evan. It's like an Evan. We said that Evan is Evan Yisrael, which is a Shvatim. All the 12 Shvatim, they fall into the Mitzilas. The Evan falls into the Mitzilas. The Mitzilas is Mitzrayim. In the Mitzilas of V'yinatzlas Mitzrayim. That when we mechasa derech hateva, the nisim are covered with derech hateva, then it brings tefillah into galus. And that's how, and the male person's pegging with tefillah, b'munah, Yisrael, and goes into galus. And the way to come out of galus is through emes, which brings us to emunah. Mitzvah Shem, tomorrow we will continue with Torah Yud.